Hey y'all. I just wanted to just come on here and just chat for a little bit. I was over here just really just thinking back over my life and just realizing how good God has been to me throughout my whole life. Like even when I was going through rough times, God was always there. And it's funny how back when my life took a turn for the worst as a teenager, that God just started giving me downloads of how He has always taken care of me, even when I didn't even realize it or didn't even know, didn't even have that much. Not like I didn't really know God. I didn't grow up. My parents didn't grow up in the church. Like my mom and my dad, they didn't. Like I started going to church. I can recall going to church back with my paternity grandmother, back when I was a kid. But that was only like for Easter, or even if we went on any other days, it was like very vague. Like it wasn't like we was rooted and planted in church. And so, you know, I don't speak much about my past because my past is my past. But I know I'm gonna have to eventually speak about it, so I might as well open up a little bit now. But back when I was 14, I met my first kid's dad or whatever, and during that time, I actually was living with them when I was going with him, and so I had the pleasure of becoming a, acquainted with God. Like his mom. It was funny because he had three triplet sisters, and two of them was light skinned and one of them was dark. And so, with me living with them, we did a lot of stuff together. It was like I was the sister. Like it wasn't like I was a sister-in-law. It was like I was actually a sister. Like the mom didn't even treat me different. Like I didn't. She actually treated me better than some of my own family members, and I'm just being real. Blood don't make you family. And so back when we was coming up, we did our chores together. We went places together. We mostly, like, I, besides them going to school, because they were still in school. After I had my second child, I dropped out of school in the 10th grade. I'm a dropout. I dropped out in the 10th grade, but I didn't let that keep me from still going to get my GED. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. And so we did a lot of stuff together. And so the mom, she was the type that had a relationship with God. And so she introduced us to God. And so to get us familiar with the word and God and how He works, even though, being at that age, being young teenagers, you can't really just grasp the fullness of like salvation or, spirituality or how God works. But it's still always good to know Him and have Him rooted and planted in you, regardless from a pup to knee high. So she would give us the task of learning a certain amount of scriptures in a certain amount of time. And like we literally had to really study these scriptures and learn them, like to actually have them rooted and planted in our spirit. Like so, and so we actually did it. Like we learned the scriptures and we knew the scriptures by heart, like literally. But in doing so, the enemy knew exactly what she was doing. And so he set a trap up for me. He had already set a trap up for me. I speak about how, I been having curses placed on me from before I was even out in the world. So it and so God just kind of like gave me the ability to go back and look over my life and just like think about like my life from back as far as I can remember. And I was just like, yeah, my life has never like really hasn't ever really been all that good, like literally. But that was his will. Like this, that was a part of my plan, part of the plan. That was part of my destiny. And so we learned the scriptures or whatever, and lo and behold, the devil used him, and even in doing so, I never really ever realized like what I was up against, like it was actually a spiritual warfare, and that I was actually like up against something spiritual, to the point where those scriptures that I learned, I really, really was needing to use them at the time, but I wasn't made aware of that. Like I didn't understand to that point. Like God was giving me weapons to use back then, but I just wasn't aware of me actually needing to use them at that time. And so, with me lacking the knowledge of how to use scriptures and how God works, and how to fight off the enemy, I fell victim to, domestic violence or whatever. And, the guy, he would, fight on me, and literally like for no reason. Like I was living with them. I didn't have really any room to cheat because I couldn't go anywhere. The only places I could go was with him, or if would I would have to ask him if I could go places with his sister, or wherever it is that I was wanting to go. But I couldn't too much do. I didn't really have any freedom when I was with him. I basically like was doing stuff either with him or his family members. And so I and God was just like, look, I understand this was a bit tedious, and what you just went through was, a hell of a ride. But like, listen, look at that shirt. What that shirt say? God had to bring me back. And he say, this ain't your first, and it ain't your last rodeo, baby. So he's just like, it's funny how you go to put some clothes on for the day, and then he related to like your life, like what you've been through. And so I was laughing because I'm saying to myself, like, really, God, like you really gonna do this today? And he's just like, yeah, like stop acting like what you just went through was like something that you hadn't. It was something that I had been through prior, but it wasn't to that extent. It was something different. But he was just still letting me know, like, you're going to have these battles. You're going to have these warfares. But you got to make sure that you keep on your breastplate righteousness, and your help. Like, you got to take the word with you everywhere you go. Because it's the enemy, he everywhere. It ain't no, I'm going to go over here today and lead this. No, you just got to be always on your P's and Q's, baby, because you don't never know when you might have to pull out that sword. And when I say that sword, I'm talking about the word of God, baby. So, I'm just like, look, I understand, you know what I'm saying? I come from the hood. I come from the streets. So he's just like, look, sometimes you have to, you know what I'm saying, use your energy to transform the energy, you know what I'm saying, to whatever the enemy may send your way. So I'm just like, I ain't tripping. You know what I'm saying? I came out, on top. I got the victory for it. And I've always gotten the victory over anything that I've been through. I've always been an overcomer. So I'm just like, look, God, you just be just you. I know you just gonna lay it on me thick, like day after day after day after day. He's just like, I'm lay it on you however I want to and whenever I want to. You just make sure you stay ready to keep from having to get ready. So I'm just like, okay, God, okay. I ain't doing no tripping. So it's just a little something. I just wanted to just, make y'all aware of today. Just wanted to come out here and do a little rant today. Nothing major, but look, y'all know my thing. I love y'all. Go be great on purpose and have a blessed day. Peace.